Why So Cold contains content that is graphic in nature. Listener discretion is advised. Why So Cold relies largely on police or news documents, eyewitness accounts, press conferences, and interviews. Every episode of Why So Cold is produced with respect to the victims, families, and communities involved.
From Watts Creative Studios, this is Why So Cold. In the spring of 2017, in Lumberton, North Carolina, 3 women were discovered dead, and all within just a few blocks of one another. Lumberton, North Carolina is a relatively small city, with a population of about 21 to 22,000 people. It's the county seat of Robinson County and is located in North Carolina's Inner Banks region. According to anecdotal evidence from internet comments and social media, Robinson County may have concerns with drugs, poverty, and gangs, all of which may coincide with the county's violent crime problems. According to Neighborhood Scout's analysis of FBI-recorded crime data, Lumberton has a 1 in 59 probability of becoming a victim of crime. The violent crime rate in this small town is unusually high compared to other cities in the state. April 2017, police were called to an abandoned home on 505 PeachTree Street. The caller reported a strong, foul odor coming from the property. This particular house had become a sort of criminal landmark, over time hosting sex workers and drug use alike. The owners of the structure reportedly had plans to renovate the property, but sadly those plans didn't come soon enough. Police reports say that inside, authorities found several pieces of furniture, trash, and waste present. When police began narrowing down the odor source, it led them to a large media or TV storage cabinet, where they discovered the remains of a female, naked and wrapped in a blanket. It's here we meet Christina. 32-year-old young mother of 3, Christina Bennett was born and raised in New York City. She left New York when she was 24 years old and moved to Maxton, North Carolina with her then boyfriend. As we all know, life is hard, and it was definitely hard for Christina. Early on, she became addicted to narcotics, struggled with this addiction for most of her adult life. But the beautiful part of this is we know Christina wanted to change. She was ready to turn her life around for her family and for her children especially. Becoming sober had become a priority for her, and she made the decision to do whatever she needed to do to make this happen. She would decide to sign over her parental rights to a trusted friend and hit reset and relocate to Lumberton, North Carolina. Christina loved her children and was in constant contact with them. She never missed a birthday or a holiday and was always checking in on them. In the fall of 2014, something went wrong. All communication from her suddenly stopped, and the cold wind of winter began to set in without any word from Christina. Let's go back to the scene. Police then continue to search for what seems to be a second odor source that, even when outside, is overwhelmingly present. This was confirmed when bystanders noticed that a few yards away were some trash bins lined up for trash day. These bins seemed to radiate the same foul smell coming from the home. So someone did what anyone would do in a curious situation. They opened one. When lifting the lid of the common green residential trash can is where we meet Rhonda. 36-year-old Rhonda Jones grew up in Virginia and moved to North Carolina when she was 16 to attend the University of North Carolina, Pembroke. She worked at a nonprofit organization called the American Indian Mothers. Her extraordinary work revolved around serving the educational, health, social, agricultural, and cultural needs of minority communities. Rhonda was also a member of the North Carolina Lumbee tribe. Interestingly enough, Rhonda too struggled with drug addiction. She lost custody of her 4 youngest children to their father due to this addiction. Rhonda's last visit with her children was for Mother's Day in 2016. Rhonda's goal was always to get her children back, live a sober life, and continue to make a difference in her community. So she set out to do just that. Entering into a rehabilitation facility in March, she knew asking for help was her first step to recovery, and she was ready for success. We know Rhonda made a court date to discuss visitation, and that date was set for April 17th. We also know, unfortunately, Rhonda's family also reported her missing in April of 2017 after not being able to get a hold of her for over 3 weeks and missing their annual Easter celebration. Something wasn't right, and everyone began to fear the worst. Let's go back to the scene. At this point, we have one major crime scene, 2 female bodies, and a crowd of onlookers. Lumberton Police and the SBI, State Bureau of Investigation, were led by Eric Hackney, an investigator with the district attorney's office who was quoted saying, "One of the worst scenes I've seen in a long time, if not the worst I've ever seen." Among the bystanders that horrible day was a close friend of one of the victims, Megan Oxendine. Megan spoke to the media lovingly about her friend Rhonda. She was quoted saying she was a sweet and kind person. Quote, "I never see her act out or nothing. She was just quiet. She really didn't mess with too many people. I don't understand how people could do somebody's child, mother, niece like that," said Megan. Heartbreakingly, Rhonda's younger sister was among the bystanders as well. She boldly approached one of the investigators, asking simply, "Can you look for a tattoo?" Rhonda had a rather large and unique tattoo that could easily be identified on her left leg. Shockingly and sadly, that tattoo was there. Rhonda's sister was quoted as saying, "I want whoever did this to be punished. I know somebody knows something because Rhonda knows everybody in this town. Somebody knows what happened to her. She had 5 kids. She had a family that loved her. She had a granddaughter that she loved with all of her heart. Somebody needs to be punished for what they did to her. She didn't deserve this. No one deserved that." Authorities began the long and painstaking process of interviewing those that knew the 2 victims. It did, however, take some time to positively confirm their identities due to the level of decay, according to sources. Rhonda's face was covered with minor cuts, and she had a fractured nose. The medical examiner was unable to determine when these injuries may have occurred, whether before or after death. Other than her nose fracture, there were no further signs of trauma. There was no evidence of sexual assault other than the fact that she was found naked. Her toxicology report revealed residue of cocaine, antihistamine cough medicine, a Prozac component, and nicotine. Her cause of death was ruled undetermined. Christina's autopsy, like Rhonda's, also had no external or internal sign of assault. However, her tox report found traces of cocaine, nerve medication, and nicotine. There were no opiates present. However, both women had ethanol, alcohol, found in their systems. But oddly enough, this can be caused by decomposition, not solely from ingesting alcohol. Sadly, we've already met our 3rd victim. Noted reporter for CBS North Carolina, Nate Rogers, tells Inside Edition, "Everybody had heard these ladies' names because you got to remember, the population in Lumberton is around 22,000 people. So a small knit community, everyone knew each other or knew somebody's families. But familiarity doesn't guarantee and in fact can sometimes hinder openness," Rogers stated. "I think it was one of those situations where we don't want to tell, we don't want to talk about it," he said. But Nate does remember one woman who was open to talking on camera. "I vividly remember standing on the corner and Miss Megan Oxendine walking up and just standing there," Rogers said. "I vividly remember her shaking, saying, 'Oh my God, it's so sad. I can't believe this happened.'" 28-year-old Megan Oxendine was a local girl. She grew up only 12 miles outside of Lumberton and was also a member of the indigenous Lumbee community. Eerily, the same book bag Megan was wearing in the earlier interview would be found and entered into evidence in a trash can only steps away from her nude, lifeless body. This horrifying discovery only 2 weeks after Rhonda and Christina were found. Megan loved the outdoors. She loved to fish, ride horses, and dreamed of becoming a veterinarian. But there was nothing she loved more than her daughter, Ava. Shortly after moving in with her boyfriend, she started experimenting with drugs, and that experimentation quickly turned to addiction. Megan's mother, Sheila Oxendine, said, "It was heroin. I still get mad at her. She wasn't raised like that. She was raised in a good, nice family." Her mother, though she didn't agree with how Megan was living, always made sure Megan knew she could come home. Her mom is quoted saying, "When we heard the news of the 2 bodies found on the news, we were so relieved when Megan called us right away to say she was okay." Megan had been inside that little blue house. Megan and another man saw a dead female in the home. We know Megan didn't call the police that day. She was probably in shock, too fearful, or just not capable at the time. In an incredibly odd turn of events, Megan's nightmare was just beginning. A few days after the interview, Megan was attacked. Her sister remembers her severely bleeding, covered with bruises, and her hair being cut. Megan told her family she thinks it was at least 5 people who were responsible for her injuries. Megan's family immediately called the police, but unfortunately, Megan refused to speak about the incident when the detectives arrived. The investigators on the scene did feel strongly that Megan obviously knew more than she was saying, but this really disturbed him. But he did decide to come back in a few days. Maybe she'll be more comfortable or more healed and he can try again. However, before they could return to follow up, Lumberton law enforcement received a chilling call and hauntingly responded to the all-too-close Little Blue House property. Residents in the area discovered another gruesome scene behind a house on East 8th Street on June 3, 2017. The body was that of Megan Oxendine. Whoever placed her there tried to hide her under some tree branches, fallen shingles, and other debris. Unlike the other 2 victims, a piece of Megan's clothing was found with her body. Megan had a laceration on the back of her head. She was covered in blood and bound. There was also an unknown item shoved inside her mouth, according to several residents. 3 blocks, 3 bodies. Megan's autopsy and toxology report revealed some trace quantities of cocaine, nicotine, caffeine, and morphine. There was also ethanol present, but we know that by earlier findings that this can occur during decomposition. According to medical examiner Jennifer Altman, the cause of death was ruled uncertain for the 3rd time. Lumberton authorities enlisted the help of the FBI once the 3rd victim was discovered. There still remains some strong concerns regarding these cases, in my opinion, which I usually try to leave out. One, we know that the rape kits for these women were not sent to the lab in a timely manner. According to sources, it was over 20 months. This is extremely alarming. 2, family members have said over and over again how they feel like they're being ignored or not taken seriously. They are relying on law enforcement officers for this help, for their closure, for their justice. 3, this is a severe public security threat. What do we need to do next here? And probably the most terrifying of all these concerns, that weeks after Megan's body was found, 2 other women went missing in Robinson County, 41-year-old Cynthia Jacobs and 20-year-old Abby Patterson. Cynthia Jacobs was the last person to see Megan alive, according to her sister-in-law. Cynthia is also a part of the Lumbee tribe like Rhonda and Megan. Cynthia's case is largely unknown. In July 2017, she was seen walking in the area of Chippewa Street and 2nd Street and was never seen again. Abby Patterson vanished less than 3,000 feet from where the other women's bodies were found. Abby returned to Lumberton in August 2013. She was striving to recover from her heroin addiction while in rehab in Florida. On September 5, 2018, around 11:30 a.m., Abby arrived in town for a few days, and she sent a text message to her mother saying she would be back within an hour or so. Abby's mother, Samantha Levitt, said neighbors last saw the young girl get into a Buick Make car down the street from her home. The individual in the car is described by police as an acquaintance of hers. Abby was dropped off at another location, according to the driver, but authorities would not disclose where. Levitt said she received that text from her daughter, and that would be the last time she would hear from Abby ever again. The police have not formally linked the disappearances of Cynthia and Abby to the murders of Christina, Rhonda, and Megan. Parker said detectives have followed a number of leads in the case of Abby Patterson, but were no closer to finding her. Abby's mother released the following statement last year. Abby's smile lit up every room, but that room went dark for our family on September 5th, 2017. Every day, our minds and hearts question where and why this has happened to our sweet Abby. I can only pray that our grief, desperation, prayers, and hope to find Abby will outweigh the evil that has left us with the unknown for 4 horrific years. Abby is loved by so many, some that don't even know her. God will prevail and give us the answers we need to bring her back home to us. I am her voice, and I will keep screaming her name. I will never give up. Please share Abby's beautiful face. It's been 4 years too long. Please join the Find Abby Facebook page and keep sharing. Thank you for all your continuous love, support, and prayers. Rhonda's mother later told the press in April 2019 that she had more evidence that had been forwarded to the crime lab. She had nail clippings she claimed were among the evidence. So far, no information on what this fresh evidence and the rape kits have shown or have been released. The cases have dragged on agonizingly slowly, according to Rhonda Jones' mother, because the ladies were involved in crime and hailed from Native families. She said police waited too long to submit the rape kits, and it's too late for testing. She and other families have complained this as well. In April 2021, additional evidence was discovered, and a breakthrough looked likely. We can't really talk about any of the specific evidence we have in this case, but I will state that I believe we have solid evidence. And that's all I have to say, said North Carolina FBI Special Agent Glenn. The investigation has not changed. Whether or not this is considered a homicide, or if this is referred to as an undetermined death, we're still putting in the same amount of effort, putting in the same number of hours, and allocating the same amount of resources, he explained. And I believe that the fact that we have the reward, that we've conducted so many interviews, that we've talked with so many different departments, we've got analysts on the case. We're putting in a lot of time and effort to figure out who put them there, because it's clear they didn't choose to be there. And the goal of our investigation is to figure out who did it. Who did that, you might wonder. Glenn stated that their behavioral analysis unit has gathered information on the activities of a person who may have been involved in the killing of the victims. We believe that this offender may have left the community after this happened. If they didn't leave the community, their behavior has probably changed. There may have been drinking involved, meaning started or stopping. They may have quit their job. They have inconsistent behavior. They may have told someone. They may have done it, and it was brushed aside. Someone out there, Glenn added, might have the knowledge they need to solve this case. Sometimes all it takes is for the community to come forward with that small little bit of information that matches something else that we have, that just kind of completes the puzzle. And I think that's something we really need from the community right now. It's that little bit of information to match up with the evidence we have. We're asking the community to think back to this time frame and go, you know what? I didn't come forward then, but I think maybe I should come forward now. Cynthia Twister Jacobs has been missing since July 27th, 2017. She's 5'6" and weighed 110 pounds at the time of her disappearance. She has black and brown hair, brown eyes, and a tattoo with the name Chris on her chest. Abby Patterson has been missing since she was last seen getting into a brown Buick on East 9th Street on September 5th, 2017. Abby was 5'7" tall and weighs 140 pounds when she vanished. On the back of her right shoulder, she has 3 birds tattooed. Abby also has a black-colored birthmark on the back of her right thigh. She was seen wearing a white tank top, brown shoes at the time of her disappearance. Chief Officer Michael McNeil released this statement. As police chief and a member of this community, I want to know what happened to Christina, Rhonda, and Megan. I also understand that there's a lot of uncertainty, concern, and even fear right now. Let me reassure you that we are committed to finding out the answers. We hope the people of Lumberton and those listening will help us. Anyone with information about the deaths of Christina Bennett, Rhonda Jones, or Megan Oxendine is being offered a $40,000 reward. Or if you have any information on the disappearances of Cynthia Jacobs or Abby Patterson, please call the FBI at 704-672-6100.
This has been an episode of Why So Cold. For the source material used in this episode, visit whysocold.com.